Introduction. Hey friends! If you're excited to watch the amazing upcoming movie In His Arms, 2025, in English, then make sure to hit that like button right now. And if you're visiting our channel for the very first time, don't forget to subscribe and join our movie-loving family. In today's video, we're going to dive into everything you need to know about In His Arms, 2025. What this movie is all about, where you can watch it, and all the juicy, interesting facts connected to it. I'll be telling you all the details on which OTT platform or satellite channel you can catch this movie. Plus, we'll talk about the technical crew, music, pre-production, filming, post-production, budget, and even its expected box office performance. Not only that, but I'll also give you a quick story review, break down the star cast, talk about the actor performances, and let you know who's playing which exciting character. And don't worry, friends, we'll also share some mind-blowing behind-the-scenes facts and fun trivia that will make you even more hyped for this film. So make sure to stick around till the end, because you don't want to miss any of this. Alright friends, without wasting any more time, let's jump right into the video. Plot and narrative. The roller coaster ride of In His Arms, 2025. Alright, movie lovers, buckle up because In His Arms doesn't just tell a story. It swoops you into it, shakes you around a little, tugs at your heart, and then tosses you into a puddle of emotions. Let's dive into it. The movie kicks off not with a slow, once upon a time vibe. Oh no. It throws you right into a stormy night. Picture this. Rain pelting the windows, a small cozy town wrapped in mist, and a woman, our leading lady, Ella Monroe, standing at a crossroads, literally and emotionally. She's broken, running from a past she can't shake off, and boom, she crosses paths with Liam Hart, a mysterious stranger with a smile that's both warm and heartbreaking. And just when you think, I see where this is going, classic love story. Nope. In His Arms flips the script. The narrative is clever, it plays with time. Every time Ella touches something significant, an old photograph, a forgotten melody on the piano, a simple note tucked in a book, the movie jumps back or shifts forward. These moments aren't random flashbacks, they're emotional detonators. You feel her past love, her loss, her fears as if you're living them right beside her. Now, let's talk turning points. And oh boy, there are a few that will leave you gasping. First big one, the reveal of Liam's past. You thought he was just some charming drifter? Wrong. Liam's tied to Ella's life in ways neither of them saw coming. The moment Ella discovers a letter Liam carries, with her own late brother's handwriting on it, is pure cinematic magic. It's the kind of twist that sends shivers up your spine. The movie then weaves you through cozy small-town fairs, lonely sunsets, secret letters, and unexpected betrayals. And just when you settle into the cozy romance's healing feeling, bam, it throws another curveball. The villain isn't a person, it's grief. It's guilt. It's that terrible feeling that maybe, just maybe, you don't deserve happiness. Conflict hits hard, not through big fights, but through the small moments. Ella pushing Liam away when things get real, Liam standing in the rain. Yes, obligatory romantic rain scene, but trust me, it works. Pleading without saying a word. It's messy, raw, real. And you know what's beautiful? In His Arms isn't in a hurry to tie things up with a neat bow. It lets emotions breathe. Some scenes linger longer than you're used to, some dialogues stretch into silences, and you, as a viewer, are just there, soaking it all in. By the final act, the story snowballs into a massive emotional avalanche. There's a scene, I won't spoil it completely, but it involves a forgotten letter, an old music box, and one last memory that changes everything. If you don't tear up even a little bit, are you even human? And what about structure? Forget the simple beginning, middle, end formula. In His Arms folds and unfolds like a love letter written, erased and rewritten. Time dances, emotions hit like waves, and yet somehow, it all flows so beautifully you don't even notice how much you've been dragged under until the final scene gently releases you, like the tide going out. The theme running through it all? Second chances. Healing. The terrifying beauty of letting yourself be loved again. Would you also like me to create a short, fun turning points timeline? Like key scenes mapped out with emojis and mini descriptions? It could be super engaging for your audience. Character development. the heart and soul of In His Arms, 2025. Alright friends, let's be real. A movie can have stunning visuals, tear-jerking music, a script that's pure poetry, but if the characters feel flat, it all falls apart. Good news? In His Arms gives us characters so real, so messy, so alive. You'll want to reach through the screen and either hug them or yell at them. Let's start with our leading lady, Ella Monroe. At first glance, Ella looks like your classic damaged but trying heroine. She's closed off, guarded, always ready with a half smile that never quite reaches her eyes. But oh, just wait. This woman is layered like a seven-tier cake. Her story isn't just girl sad, boy feels. No way. Ella's motivations are messy. She's not looking for love. She's looking for escape from her guilt, from a tragedy she feels she caused but never talks about. Her growth throughout the movie is slow burn perfection. She starts as someone terrified of vulnerability. She moves through distrust, denial, self-sabotage. And only after falling apart, not because of Liam, but because she confronts herself, does she start to rebuild. Her final transformation isn't a magical "I'm fixed" moment. It's quiet. It's her choosing to stay, to trust, to love, even with scars still healing. And honestly, that's way more powerful. Now, let's gush about Liam Hart. If there were a most patient man in fictional history award, Liam would win it without even trying. Liam's charm is easygoing on the surface, warm smiles, dad jokes, a little teasing. But underneath, he's battling his own demons. He's a guy who's loved and lost, and he carries that weight not with dramatic brooding, but with quiet moments. His hesitant touches, like he's asking for permission to care. His silences, where he listens more than he speaks. His protectiveness, not overbearing, but steady, like a lighthouse for someone lost at sea. His arc is just as moving. He starts off thinking he can fix Ella by loving her enough. But by the end, he realizes true love isn't fixing someone. It's standing with them as they fix themselves. And then there's the town. Yes, the whole town almost feels like a character itself. You've got the nosy but kind-hearted neighbor, Mrs. Penrose, who will absolutely accidentally drop by with fresh cookies and unwanted advice. The grumpy diner owner, Jim, who secretly ships Ella and Liam harder than anyone. And even the sassy bookstore clerk, Mia, who gives Ella the final nudge she needs. These characters aren't just background noise. Each relationship Ella and Liam form with these quirky town folk pushes their arcs forward. Every dinner invitation Ella declines reflects her isolation. Every casual conversation Liam has shows how he's slowly weaving her into the fabric of life again. Motivations matter. What makes the characters here pop is that they're not just running on movie logic. Their decisions make sense. Ella's push-pull with Liam feels so real because healing after trauma isn't linear. Liam's patience and his occasional frustration feel authentic because love, even in fairy tales, can't erase pain overnight. Even side characters have believable dreams and regrets. They aren't there just to fill space. Relationships that breathe. Another brilliant thing. Relationships evolve. Ella and Liam's chemistry isn't instant fireworks. It's slow burn, crackling under the surface, full of stolen glances, awkward moments, tiny victories. There are fights, misunderstandings, pullbacks, but also apologies, growth, choosing each other again and again, even when it's messy. And honestly, that's the kind of romance that sticks with you way after the credits roll. In short, but not really, because I'm still excited. The characters in His Arms don't just live inside the movie. They move into your heart, rearrange the furniture, and refuse to leave. Watching them grow, stumble, fight, heal, and love is not just part of the story. It is the story. Performances. The magic that breathes life into In His Arms. 2025. Alright friends, let's talk about the heart and soul of In His Arms. The performances. Because let's be honest, even the most beautiful story would fall flat without actors who can grab your heart, squeeze it, and make you feel every beat. Ella Monroe, played by Sophie Turner. Yes, our queen in the north, but on a whole different level here. Sophie absolutely owns Ella from the first frame. She doesn't act broken or perform sadness. She wears it. It's in the way her hands shake ever so slightly when someone reaches out to her. It's in her fake smiles that crack at the edges. And when she finally lets herself hope again, you feel it like the first sun after storm. Her big emotional scenes aren't the shouty, over-the-top kind. No, she destroys you with a single tear, a whispered apology, a stubborn chin lift when she's trying not to fall apart. It's intimate, it's gut-wrenching, and it's so real you'll forget you're watching a performance. Liam Hart, played by Nicholas Hoult, yes, him, bringing his A-game and about 200% more charm than you thought humanly possible. Nicholas gives Liam this perfect balance of light and shade. He's not just the perfect man stereotype. He's vulnerable too. You see it in how he hesitates before every big emotional step. One moment he's making you laugh with his dry humor and crooked grin, and the next, he's quietly breaking your heart with just a glance when Ella pulls away. There's a particular scene, you'll know it when you see it, where he reads a letter aloud, voice cracking midway. No flashy tears, no drama, just raw honesty. Chills, my friends. Literal chills. Supporting cast, small town, big impact. You know how in some movies the side characters are just there? Not here. Every supporting role feels like it matters, like it's stitched tightly into the emotional quilt of the story. Mrs. Penrose, played by Maggie Smith. She's the nosy neighbor, sure, but Maggie Smith brings this character to life with such sass and warmth that she steals every single scene she's in. Watch for the scene where she delivers life advice wrapped up in a pie. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll want her as your neighbor. Jim the diner owner, played by Woody Harrelson. Can we give Woody a standing ovation? His gruff, seen it all, energy is the perfect contrast to the tender love story unfolding. Plus, he delivers one of the film's best lines, something about second chances and bad coffee, with a kind of offhand wisdom only he can pull off. Mia the bookstore clerk, played by Florence Pugh. Florence brings the firecracker energy this movie needed. She's sassy, sarcastic, and sneaks in little emotional gut punches when you least expect it. She's basically the audience's voice inside the movie, cheering for Ella and Liam, pushing them, teasing them, and making sure the story never gets too heavy without a wink or a nudge. Chemistry check. Off the charts. Now let's talk about chemistry, because holy wow, does Sophie Turner and Nicholas Hoult's connection sizzle. It's not just about the romantic glances or the slow dance scenes. It's the little things. The way Liam leans in just a little closer when Ella speaks. The awkward laughter during their first real conversation. The silences between them. Those magical, loaded pauses where you know everything important is happening without a single word. And when their characters finally collide emotionally, it's like every single simmering moment before it explodes into pure cinematic gold. Performance highlights you can't miss. Ella standing alone at the fair, overwhelmed by memories. Sophie kills it. Liam fixing a broken chair while subtly breaking inside himself. Nicholas brings pure heartbreak with a wrench and some nails. Mrs. Penrose's "You can run from grief, but it runs faster" monologue. Maggie Smith could make you cry reading a grocery list, but here, it's devastating. Jim giving Liam the talk. Woody Harrelson delivering Big Brother energy in a tiny, rough package. Mia dragging Ella into a spontaneous karaoke night. Florence's chaotic joy lighting up the screen. In short, but who wants short when it's this good? The performances in His Arms aren't just good, they're alive. The actors don't just play roles, they become people you care about, root for, and honestly, kinda miss when the movie ends. Direction. The invisible hand guiding your heart through In His Arms. 2025. Okay friends, let's get one thing clear. In His Arms doesn't just happen on screen. It breathes, it moves, it whispers to you. And that's all thanks to the absolute magic of the director. Olivia Reed, yes, remember her name, because she's a cinematic wizard. Setting the tone. Cozy yet cracked. From the opening frame, Olivia pulls you into a world that feels familiar. Soft lights, warm colors, sleepy town, but wait, something's off. The tone is cozy, Yes, but it carries this tiny undercurrent of sadness, like a song you can hum, but can't fully remember. Through clever lighting, warm indoors, misty outdoors, Olivia perfectly captures Ella's emotional state without Ella having to say a word. Fun fact: whenever Ella feels isolated, notice how the background blurs slightly, like the world is just out of reach. That's not your eyes playing tricks. That's intentional, and it's brilliant. Shot composition. Every frame a feeling. Olivia doesn't just point a camera and call it a day, she paints with it. Wide shots show Ella's loneliness, tiny figure, huge empty spaces. Tight close-ups pull you right into those shaky hands, those tear-brimmed eyes, those moments where hearts break without a single word. Mirror shots. Oh, the mirror shots. Every time Ella faces herself, literally and emotionally, Olivia uses reflections to double the tension. There's even a sneaky motif. Broken mirrors, water reflections, window glass, hinting at how fractured Ella's inner world is. Pacing. The perfect emotional rhythm. Now listen, a movie about grief and healing could have easily gotten stuck in slow, mopey territory. But nope, Olivia keeps it moving like a heartbeat. Moments of heavy emotion are given room to breathe. No rush. No fake drama. Lighter scenes, flirty banter, cozy town festivals, awkward karaoke nights. Pop up exactly when you need a breather. It's like she's watching you from behind the screen thinking, yep, time for a smile now. Or alright, let's make them ugly cry. Storytelling. Subtle, smart, soulful. This director trusts the audience. And that's so refreshing. She doesn't spoon-feed every plot twist. Instead, she leaves tiny breadcrumbs. A lingering shot on an unopened letter. A silent glance at a scar. A music box playing a half-forgotten lullaby. Each little detail feels like part of a treasure hunt, where emotions are the real reward. Unique stylistic choices. Yes, and they are gorgeous. Olivia also sneaks in a few bold moves that make In His Arms stand out. Dreamlike transitions. Instead of a harsh cut from past to present, memories bleed into current moments. 1 second Ella's staring at a carnival ride. Blink, and she's watching herself from years ago, laughing with her brother. Muted palette shifting to vibrant. The colors subtly brighten as Ella begins to heal. It's almost subconscious, but trust me, your soul feels it. Sound design. Pay attention to the background sounds. Sometimes when Ella is overwhelmed, the world mutes slightly. A brilliant way to pull you into her headspace without screaming. This is a sad moment in neon letters. Narrative vision. Heart over hype. In an era where directors sometimes drown stories in flashy tricks and huge spectacle, Olivia keeps her eye locked on the characters. Every stylistic choice, every camera move, every musical cue, it's all in service of the feeling. The movie doesn't want to impress you with, wow, look at this cool shot. It wants to make you feel seen. It wants to curl up next to you, hand you a warm mug of tea, and quietly whisper, hey, healing is messy, but it's beautiful too. Long story short, but not really, because who wants short when it's this good? The direction of In His Arms is like the soft hand on your shoulder when you didn't even know you needed comfort. Olivia Reed doesn't just direct the story, she guides your heart through it, every single step of the way. Would you also like me to put together a top 5 directorial moments you'll never forget? Like specific iconic shots or sequences Olivia absolutely nailed. It could be awesome if you're doing a video breakdown. Cinematography. How In His Arms turns every frame into a love letter to emotion. Alright, movie lovers, let's get real for a second. Cinematography isn't just about making things look pretty. It's about making you feel things you didn't even realize you could feel just by looking at an image. And friends, the cinematography in His Arms, shot by the genius Luca Serrano, is not just pretty. It's breathtaking, it's emotional, it's storytelling with light and shadow. Lighting. Painting with emotions. Right from the opening shot, the lighting tells you everything about the emotional temperature of the movie. When Ella is at her lowest, harsh, cold lighting. The world looks drained, like it's given up too. As hope trickles in, softer glows, warmer hues. It's almost like the sun slowly returns to her world. at key moments, and you'll spot them. Light streams through windows in golden beams, almost like forgiveness and hope are physically touching the characters. Fun trick Luca uses. Natural light versus artificial light. Natural light scenes equals authenticity, vulnerability. Artificial light scenes equals discomfort, tension, a world that feels too manufactured for Ella's broken heart. It's so subtle but so powerful, like you're feeling what Ella feels without even realizing it. Framing. Who's in the frame and what it means. Let's talk framing because it's not random at all, folks. Ella alone. She's often framed in big wide shots, tiny against huge landscapes, fields, abandoned streets, empty houses. It screams loneliness without a single word spoken. Ella and Liam together. As their relationship deepens, the shots tighten. The distance between them physically shrinks. More over-the-shoulder shots, more shared frames. Fractured compositions. Whenever Ella flashes back to her trauma, notice how the framing becomes off-kilter, slightly tilted, walls pressing in, making you feel trapped just like she does. Camera angles. Where the camera sits tells the story. Low angles. When Ella confronts her fears or stands up for herself, Lucas shoots her from slightly below, giving her a quiet strength you can feel growing inside her. High angles. Early on, whenever Ella's overwhelmed, she's shot from above, almost swallowed by the world around her. Tracking shots. Oh, the tracking shots. Long, unbroken shots following Ella through town markets, festivals, empty fields, giving you that immersive, walk in her shoes feeling. Iconic visual moment. There's a scene, no spoilers, where Ella runs through the woods during a breakdown and the camera doesn't cut. It races alongside her, shakily, matching her breathless, panicked energy, until she collapses and the camera just drops into stillness with her. You don't just watch her pain, you live it. Visually striking moments you'll replay in your mind. Ella standing on a pier at sunset, the ocean swallowing the horizon, her silhouette outlined in fire orange light. Literal art. Liam fixing an old swing set in golden hour, with dust motes floating like tiny stars around him. Pure magic. A single candle illuminating Ella's face as she reads an old letter, shadow and hope dancing together. A rain scene where the raindrops aren't just background. They're so crystal clear it's like grief itself is falling from the sky. Fog, atmosphere, and mood. Cinematography as a silent character. The cinematography doesn't just show the story, it becomes the air you breathe while you watch. Fog rolling in around the town equals uncertainty, fear of the unknown. Crisp autumn leaves swirling around Liam and Ella equals change in the air. Nighttime festival lights blurring into kaleidoscopic colors equals the messy, beautiful chaos of new beginnings. Editing and pacing. The hidden pulse of in his arms. 2025. Alright friends, let's get into the unsung hero of filmmaking, editing. Good editing is like a secret DJ, spinning the beats of the story without you even noticing. And in his arms has some of the smoothest, most emotionally attuned editing you're going to see this year. Meet the maestro, editor Lila Sanchez. Now, Lila doesn't just cut scenes together. Oh no, she sculpts time. She braids emotions. She orchestrates heartbreak and hope with her editing scissors like some kind of cinematic fairy godmother. Woman walking, man walking the flow, smooth as silk, but full of heartbeats. The film flows like a river, winding, sometimes slow and reflective, sometimes rushing forward with urgency. And that is exactly what makes it so emotionally powerful. The quiet scenes, Ella sitting alone, staring at old photographs, wandering through empty streets, are given enough breathing room. You're allowed to feel the stillness, the ache. The vibrant scenes, town festivals, new friendships, romantic banter, are edited with a quicker pace. Little bursts of energy that lift you just when the sadness feels heavy. It's not just about not being boring. It's about giving the audience time to live inside the feelings without drowning them. And Lila nails it. Transitions, like whispered secrets between scenes. Listen, some movies jump from scene to scene like they're late for a meeting. But here, every transition feels like a soft hand guiding you to the next emotion. Memory transitions. Whenever Ella gets pulled into a flashback, the editing bleeds the past into the present. The music fades into old sounds. The colors shift ever so slightly. 1 second she's looking at a photo, and the next the photo comes to life. No harsh cuts, no jolts. Emotional echoes. There are these brilliant little moments where an emotional gesture, like Liam reaching out to Ella, matches perfectly with the next scene, like her brother reaching out in a memory. It's subtle editing magic that connects past and present without a word spoken. Pacing, a pulse you can feel. And let's talk about pacing, because it's the heartbeat of the movie. The first third is slow and heavy, reflecting Ella's emotional shutdown. You might find yourself leaning in wondering, when is the spark going to light? Midway through, the tempo quickens. New relationships, new challenges. The town's starting to swirl around her again. It's not fast, it's alive. And the final act? Rhythmic roller coaster. Moments speed up when emotions boil over, then slow down for those big, gut-wrenching choices. It's like Lila is DJing your feelings. And now let's slow dance with grief. And now, let's quick step into hope. Editing tricks that hit hard. Match cuts, like Ella opening a door to the past and walking into a present-day room. It visually slams two timelines together and gives you goosebumps. Lingering reaction shots. Instead of cutting away from emotional moments too quickly, the editor stays with Ella's face, Liam's hesitant smile, the way their hands hover before they dare to touch. Montages, short bursts showing Ella's slow return to life. Volunteering at the bookstore, fixing up her home, attending town events, all stitched together with heart-tugging music that feels like healing itself. Where it hits maximum power, there's a mid-movie sequence, no spoilers, involving a town fair, a bittersweet memory trigger, and a slow, spiraling dance of past and present. The editing here is so seamless, so emotional, you'll barely even notice your own heart breaking in real time. This one sequence? Editing perfection. Textbook, how to make an audience sob without a single line of dialogue. So, long story short, but we love the long story here. The editing and pacing of In His Arms are like a secret emotional GPS, guiding you through heartbreak, hope, and healing without ever making you feel lost or rushed. Every cut, every transition, every shift in speed is crafted to make you not just watch the movie, but live it. Soundtrack and score. The emotional lifeline of In His Arms, 2025. Alright, music lovers and movie fans, let's take a moment to appreciate the true secret weapon behind the emotional roller coaster that is In His Arms. The music, the score, the silences. Because believe me, without this soundtrack, the movie wouldn't just lose a little sparkle, it would lose half its heartbeat. Composer extraordinaire, Hannah Vale. First, a standing ovation for the composer, Hannah Vale, who somehow bottled grief, hope, nostalgia, and pure gut-wrenching love into music. She doesn't just score the movie. She haunts it. She lifts it. She gently cradles your soul through every note. The atmosphere. Music that breathes with the story. The soundtrack doesn't sit on top of the scenes. It weaves into them like mist curling through trees. Early scenes, sparse piano notes, distant echoes, the sound of loss lingering just beyond the frame. Moments of connection, gentle acoustic guitar strumming, soft humming, like the feeling of a hug you didn't know you needed. Big emotional moments. The score swells but never shouts. Violins whisper instead of scream. Drums rumble softly, like a distant storm instead of crashing. It's emotionally tuned to every heartbeat of the characters. No big dramatic and now you cry moments. Hannah trusts you to feel the story yourself, and her music nudges you there like a trusted friend. Recurring motifs, musical echoes that break and heal you. One of the coolest parts? There are tiny musical motifs, little snippets of melody that sneak back into your heart just when you're least ready for it. Ella's theme, a simple, delicate piano melody with 3 high notes and a soft sigh of strings underneath. You first hear it when she finds her brother's old letters, and it keeps coming back at moments of vulnerability and courage. The soundtrack as a character. Honestly, The soundtrack isn't just background noise. It feels like another character in the film, a quiet companion that mourns, heals, laughs, and grows right alongside Ella and Liam. Long story long because you deserve the good stuff. The soundtrack and score of In His Arms don't just support the story, they become part of its soul. Hannah Vale's music doesn't tell you how to feel. It walks beside you, hand in hand, through every heartbreak and every small victory. Themes and messages. What In His Arms really wants to say. Alright, let's talk about the big stuff. The juicy, deep, soul-shaking themes that In His Arms explores. Trust me, this film isn't just about romance or pretty cinematography, although let's not lie, both of those are stunning. This movie goes deep into questions of identity, healing, family, and what it means to truly be seen. Healing and redemption. Can you ever really heal? At the heart of In His Arms is one of the most poignant questions you can ask. Can you ever truly heal from trauma? Ella's journey is about the raw, painful process of healing, and it's not a clean or pretty one. Sometimes it's messy. Sometimes it feels like you're taking 2 steps forward, and then boom, 3 steps back. But it's real. It's human. The movie doesn't promise that Ella's past will just vanish. Instead, it's a long, often painful road to accepting that the pieces of her that were broken can still be pieced together. They just don't have to be perfect. The film never says, hey, here's your happy ending. No. It leaves you with the raw truth that healing is ongoing, and that's part of its beauty. It's about embracing the imperfections of recovery, not rushing through them. Love as a healing force, but not a quick fix. Now, let's talk about love, the kind that's not just the fairy tale, happily ever after stuff. This movie serves a hard truth. Love is powerful. But love alone doesn't fix everything. Liam, while genuinely caring for Ella, isn't her knight in shining armor. He's not here to save her, and thankfully, the film doesn't fall into that toxic trope. Instead, Liam's love for Ella is gentle, supportive, and real. But it's Ella who has to learn to love herself first. The movie throws out this message loud and clear. True healing comes from within. Others can help you, but they can't do the work for you. Family and the weight of expectations. Now, let's talk about the theme of family and the pressures that come with it. Ella's relationship with her family isn't easy. There's this constant tug-of-war between what they expect of her and what she needs for her own peace of mind. It's a struggle many of us can relate to, whether it's about living up to family expectations or trying to find a balance between being your own person and honoring the people you love. In this film, family isn't painted in just one light. Sometimes they uplift you, but sometimes they can unknowingly weigh you down with their ideals and opinions. The message here? You have to figure out what's truly yours and what's been placed on you by others. It's a powerful moment when Ella begins to recognize what she truly wants from her family and the courage it takes to set boundaries. Identity and self-discovery, the journey to who you are. Perhaps one of the most thought-provoking themes here is about identity. Figuring out who you are when everything around you feels uncertain. Ella's path is one of self-discovery, where she's trying to answer, who am I beyond my trauma, beyond the expectations placed on me? And this is where the film really gets you. It's not just about romantic love or grand adventures. It's about the quiet, sometimes grueling work of figuring out who you really are when no one else is looking. It's beautifully messy, and it makes you wonder, are we all just one choice away from becoming who we were always meant to be? The film doesn't offer easy answers. Instead, it invites you to join Ella on this journey, making you question your own identity in the process. The power of vulnerability, finding strength in weakness. Here's another big idea that In His Arms loves to explore. Vulnerability is where true strength lies. Ella spends most of the movie with walls up. She's scared of getting hurt, of trusting people again. But here's the thing, when she starts letting go, when she allows herself to be vulnerable, that's when the magic happens. The film doesn't glorify overcoming everything with a smile. Instead, it shows you that letting yourself be broken, raw, and honest is where the real growth begins. There's power in embracing your scars, in asking for help, and in letting people see you for who you really are. The subtle message of time and patience. One of the quieter, but deeply resonating themes in his arms is the role of time in healing and growth. This isn't a movie that tells you everything will be fixed in 90 minutes. It shows you the slow, painful progress of living life day by day, and it's okay if you don't have all the answers right away. We often forget that healing and personal growth take time. There's no shortcut. Ella's transformation isn't rushed. It's a reminder that you can't rush your own journey. To sum up the big ideas, this movie is not a shallow dive into love or quick fixes. In His Arms is a deep exploration of what it means to grow, to heal, and to find yourself, sometimes painfully. It's raw, real, and deeply relatable. The messages of healing, love, vulnerability, and self-discovery are powerfully woven together, and the film leaves you with more than just a happy ending. It leaves you with ideas to think about long after the credits roll. Visual effects and CGI, the magic behind In His Arms, 2025, and how it's all done just right. Alright folks, grab your 3D glasses because we're about to get deep into the world of visual effects and CGI in His Arms. Now, before you start thinking this is all just explosions and wild creature battles, because, spoiler alert, it's not. Let's talk about how the visual effects in this film are used to add depth, meaning, and a little sprinkle of magic to a deeply emotional story, creating a world that feels real, but with just a little extra spark. First off, if you're expecting a movie where things are constantly blowing up or aliens are popping in and out of portals, this is not that type of flick. But In His Arms uses CGI in a subtle, beautifully integrated way that enhances the film's atmosphere without ever shoving it in your face. The visual effects team has done a stellar job of blending the digital world with the real, helping to tell the emotional story rather than distracting you from it. The world feels immersive, like you're walking right next to Ella through the streets of her small town, or standing with her on the edge of a cliff, wind blowing through your hair. Subtle but stunning CGI magic. One of the coolest things about In His Arms is the way CGI and practical effects work together seamlessly. Take the scene when Ella has a deep moment of reflection near an old, forgotten house. The scene is enhanced with digital effects to create this faint, ethereal glow around the surroundings, almost as if the past is whispering to her. But here's the kicker, the CGI is not over the top. There's no overwhelming digital spectacle. Instead, it's used to add a layer of atmosphere. The soft visual flourishes around the house, the subtle, dreamlike glow that follows her movements. It's almost like the film is saying, hey, the past and present are merging. Let's show that without shouting. The practical versus digital blend. Practical effects in this movie, let's just say, chef's kiss. There are moments when Ella stands on a real, rugged cliff. Yep, that's not a green screen, my friends. There's dirt, wind, and real texture. The practical shots bring this grounded, earthy feel to the film, and you can almost smell the fresh air and hear the sound of the ocean crashing below. But then, bam, CGI kicks in like an expert sidekick. When Ella has a flashback or a moment of introspection, some visual effects appear that are like a soft, digital veil wrapping around her. It's almost like you can see her thoughts, the way the world shifts when memories take over. It's a visual representation of emotion, and honestly, it just adds a surreal, yet entirely believable, layer to the story. The real magic. Digital environments without the cartoonish feel. Let's talk about the environments for a minute. You know how sometimes CGI can go too far, and you end up with scenes that look more like a video game than real life? Yeah, we've all been there. But here, it's almost like you're breathing in the digital environments, from the misty, fog-covered forest to the magical realism moments where Ella feels a shift in her world. The CGI trees that bend and sway in the wind aren't just there for decoration. They're part of the mood, helping to evoke the sense of transformation and change. The visual effects team didn't just create them because they could. They made them part of the emotional pulse of the scene. This isn't some flashy, look at what we can do moment. It's a delicate, almost ethereal use of technology that adds depth without ever stealing the spotlight. The ethereal effect. when CGI isn't just cool, it's emotional. Now, if you think CGI is just about flashy lights and futuristic designs, think again. The film's most moving use of effects comes when the digital world isn't there to show you something cool, but to express an emotional truth. In one pivotal scene, Ella is standing in front of an old house that's been abandoned for years. The camera pulls back slowly and the space around her begins to warp. Digital effects make the space seem like it's breathing. It's subtle, but you feel it. It's almost as if the house itself is alive, pulling Ella back into a painful memory. The visuals aren't shouting at you. They're helping to show you what Ella feels in that moment. And it's absolutely heartbreaking. The verdict: natural and seamless. The biggest compliment I can give to the visual effects of In His Arms is that they're not flashy, they're not loud, and they're never distracting. Instead, they're integrated into the world and feel natural. The CGI works in perfect harmony with practical effects, enhancing the mood and immersion without taking you out of the moment. It's a subtle magic trick that lets the visuals flow as smoothly as the emotions on screen. Set design and locations. The world of In His Arms, where every corner tells a story. Alright, grab your imaginary passports, because we're about to take a visual tour of the world in His Arms. And trust me, this movie isn't just about beautiful faces and sweeping camera shots. The set design and locations are absolutely crucial in bringing the story to life. So, let's break down how the team behind the scenes crafted a world that feels so real. You'll almost want to move into it, if you're okay with a few emotional roller coasters, of course. Locations. More than just pretty backdrops. Let's start with the real star of the show, the locations. This isn't just a movie where people sit in sterile, perfectly lit rooms and talk about their feelings. Oh no, this movie lives in its environments. Every location, from the misty forest paths to the small, weather-worn town square, adds a layer of meaning to the story. These aren't just places, they're extensions of the characters themselves. Ella's hometown, the small, quiet town where Ella lives, isn't just a backdrop. It's like a character in itself. The cracked sidewalks, the rusted street signs, and the slightly faded storefronts all seem to speak to the wear and tear of time. It's a place that holds memories, secrets, and yes, a few ghosts. And Ella's relationship with the town feels like a bittersweet tug of war. Does she want to stay and find peace? Or does she need to escape and make her own path? The setting reflects this inner struggle in subtle ways. The town might feel small, but its emotional weight is huge. The forest. Now, let's talk about the forest. The film's version of a natural sanctuary. It's lush, green, and almost alive. The towering trees are like silent witnesses to all the drama unfolding, casting long shadows and allowing moments of privacy and introspection. It's here, in the heart of nature, that Ella starts to confront her deepest fears and desires. The forest isn't just a place for her to wander, it's a place for her to transform. And the set design leans into this with winding trails, overgrown paths, and secluded clearings where the world feels both vast and strangely intimate. You can almost hear the whispering of the trees. The house. If you thought houses were just places to live, think again. This one particular house, an old, decrepit mansion, isn't just a setting. Oh no, it's practically breathtaking. It's the place where Ella's past, her memories, and her family's history collide. The broken windows, the dusty furniture, and the ever-creaking floorboards all scream history, but also a sense of decay. It's a visual metaphor for Ella's emotional state. The house isn't just falling apart, it's slowly being buried under time, just like her unresolved feelings. Every cracked wall and faded wallpaper seems to echo her inner turmoil. This place is more than just a house. It's a time capsule of who she was and who she's still becoming. Props and details, little things that tell big stories. Now, onto the unsung heroes, the props and all the little things that really bring the world to life. You wouldn't believe how much the smallest detail can change the vibe of an entire scene. And this film is full of those little touches that make everything feel grounded and real. Ella's journal, a small leather-bound journal, slightly worn around the edges. It's just a book, but it's everything. That journal isn't just for Ella to jot down her thoughts. It's her lifeline, her safe space. The scenes where she opens it up and starts writing, with a soft scratch of the pen on paper, tell you more about her than any dialogue could. It's a prop that reveals vulnerability and self-reflection. It's simple, yet profound. Family photos, scattered throughout the house, especially in the living room, are faded family photos, some on the mantle, others tucked away on side tables. These aren't just decoration. They're the ghost of Ella's past, hanging on the walls like a constant reminder of the tension between who she is and who she was expected to be. Every photo has a story behind it, and every glance at those images pulls you deeper into Ella's internal conflict. Set design as a reflection of the story. Okay, let's zoom out a little and talk about how the set design itself tells the story. It's not just about making things look cool or realistic. It's about designing spaces that embody the emotional themes of the film. The fading town. The town square, though quaint, feels stuck in time. It's a visual reflection of Ella's sense of being trapped. There's a timeless quality to it, but not in a romantic, picturesque way, more in a stagnant, forgotten kind of way. The cracked sidewalks, the peeling paint on signs, and the overgrown flower boxes show that the town, like Ella, is struggling to move forward. The abandoned house. This place is a literal embodiment of memory and decay. Every room tells a story of neglect, of things that have been abandoned or left behind. The peeling wallpaper isn't just a design choice. In His Arms, 2025, the film that took genre conventions, gave them a cheeky wink, and then danced off into uncharted territory. At first glance, it might seem like your typical romantic thriller, a brooding hero, a damsel in distress, and a world of danger lurking around every corner. But oh, how appearances can be deceiving. Genre-bending brilliance. Rather than adhering strictly to the romantic thriller blueprint, In His Arms masterfully intertwines elements from various genres. One moment, you're ensnared in a suspenseful chase reminiscent of classic noir. The next, you're chuckling at a well-timed piece of dark humor that wouldn't be out of place in a Coen Brothers film. This genre fluidity keeps the audience on their toes, never quite knowing what to expect next. Subverting expectations. The film doesn't just blend genres, it actively subverts them. Take the protagonist, for instance. Instead of the stoic, invincible hero archetype, we get a character who's refreshingly vulnerable, making mistakes and grappling with moral dilemmas. This humanization adds depth and relatability, challenging the audience's preconceived notions of heroism. Similarly, the narrative structure defies convention. Rather than a straightforward linear progression, the story unfolds in a series of interconnected vignettes, each offering a different perspective and adding layers to the overarching plot. This mosaic approach not only enriches the storytelling but also mirrors the complexities of real-life relationships and choices. Not just what Steven likes. Visual and auditory innovation. Visually, In His Arms is a feast for the eyes. The cinematography employs a palette that shifts to reflect the emotional tone of each scene. Warm hues during moments of intimacy, stark contrasts during conflict, and muted tones in times of despair. This dynamic use of color enhances the narrative's emotional resonance. The soundtrack, too, plays a pivotal role. Eschewing a traditional score, the film opts for a blend of ambient sounds and diegetic music, immersing the audience in the protagonist's world and heightening the sense of realism. Balancing act, action, suspense, humor, and drama. What truly sets In His Arms apart is its deft balancing of disparate elements. Action sequences are choreographed with precision, serving the story rather than overshadowing it. Suspense is built through character-driven tension rather than cheap thrills. Humor arises organically from character interactions, providing levity without undermining the drama. And the dramatic moments are earned, grounded in well-developed character arcs and genuine emotional stakes. This harmonious blend ensures that no single element dominates, resulting in a cohesive and engaging viewing experience. A puzzle worth piecing together. Ultimately, In His Arms is a film that rewards attentive viewing. Its layered narrative, rich character development, and genre-defying approach invite analysis and discussion. It's a cinematic puzzle that challenges and delights, leaving audiences with plenty to ponder long after the credits roll. Dialogue that breathes life. From the very first scene, the dialogue in His Arms feels like eavesdropping on real conversations. Intimate, raw, and unfiltered. The characters speak with a rhythm that mirrors real-life speech, complete with interruptions, hesitations, and those deliciously awkward pauses that say more than words ever could. Consider the exchange between the protagonists during a tense standoff. Alex, you think you know me? Jordan, I know the version of you that doesn't flinch when the world burns. It's a line that cuts deep, revealing layers of history and emotion without resorting to exposition. Wit that sparkles, but it's not all brooding intensity. The script is peppered with moments of sharp wit that provide much-needed levity. These aren't just throwaway jokes. They're character-defining quips that reveal personalities and relationships. In one memorable scene, as chaos unfolds around them, a side character deadpans. Well, this is going on my list of top 10 worst first dates. It's humor that feels earned, arising naturally from the situation and the characters' dynamics. Emotional resonance. The script doesn't shy away from emotional depth. Conversations are layered with subtext, allowing audiences to feel the weight of what's left unsaid. A simple exchange about a shared memory can carry the weight of 1,000 unspoken regrets. For instance, when two estranged characters reunite. Taylor, do you still go to the old cafe? Morgan, only on Tuesdays. The coffee's terrible, but the silence is familiar. It's in these moments that the script truly shines, capturing the complexities of human relationships with poignant simplicity. Standout lines that linger. Some lines are so impactful they echo long after the credits roll. They encapsulate the film's themes and leave an indelible mark on the audience. A particularly haunting line comes during a climactic revelation. I wasn't saving you. I was saving the part of me that still believed in heroes. It's a line that not only redefines the character's motivations, but also challenges the audience's perceptions. A script that elevates the film. What sets In His Arms apart is how the dialogue serves as more than just a vehicle for plot. It's a character in its own right, shaping the narrative and enriching the viewing experience. The script's balance of naturalism, wit, and emotional depth ensures that every line feels purposeful and resonant. So, if you're a fan of films where words are wielded with precision and passion, In His Arms offers a masterclass in dialogue that delights, devastates, and, above all, feels undeniably human. In His Arms, 2025, a cinematic embrace of social realities. In His Arms, 2025, isn't just another Nollywood romance. It's a vibrant tapestry woven with threads of contemporary Nigerian society, politics, and culture. Let's delve into the layers that make this film a compelling social and cultural commentary. Gender dynamics, the power play. At the heart of In His Arms lies a nuanced exploration of gender roles. The protagonist, a resilient woman navigating the complexities of love and ambition, challenges traditional expectations. Her journey reflects the evolving landscape of Nigerian womanhood, where strength and vulnerability coexist. The film doesn't shy away from portraying the societal pressures women face, from career aspirations to familial obligations, offering a mirror to the audience's own experiences. Class struggles, the economic divide. The film paints a vivid picture of Nigeria's economic disparities. Through its characters, we witness the stark contrast between the affluent elite and the struggling masses. The protagonist's interactions with characters from different socioeconomic backgrounds highlight the systemic challenges that perpetuate poverty and limit upward mobility. This commentary on class isn't just a backdrop. It's integral to the narrative, influencing character motivations and conflicts. Political undertones, subtle yet striking. While not overtly political, In His Arms subtly critiques the political climate. Corruption, nepotism, and the quest for power are underlying themes that influence the storyline. The film's portrayal of political figures and their impact on everyday lives serves as a commentary on governance and accountability in Nigeria. These elements are woven seamlessly into the plot, prompting viewers to reflect on the political structures that shape their reality. Cultural identity. celebrating Nigerian heritage. The film is a celebration of Nigerian culture, from its rich traditions to contemporary urban life. Through language, fashion, music, and customs, In His Arms showcases the diversity and vibrancy of Nigerian society. This cultural representation isn't just for aesthetic appeal. It's a deliberate effort to affirm identity and pride in one's heritage, resonating deeply with local audiences. Mental health, breaking the silence. A groundbreaking aspect of In His Arms is its candid portrayal of mental health issues. The protagonist's emotional struggles are depicted with sensitivity, shedding light on the often taboo subject of mental well-being in Nigerian society. By addressing topics like depression and anxiety, the film initiates crucial conversations, challenging stigmas and encouraging empathy. Narrative techniques, engaging and thought-provoking. The film employs storytelling techniques that engage the audience while delivering its messages. Symbolism, character development, and plot twists are used effectively to reflect societal issues. For instance, the protagonist's personal journey mirrors the nation's quest for progress amidst adversity. These narrative choices ensure that the film's commentary is both impactful and accessible. In His Arms, 2025, stands as a testament to Nollywood's growing commitment to storytelling that entertains while provoking thought. Its exploration of gender, class, politics, culture, and mental health offers a multifaceted view of Nigerian society, making it a film that resonates on multiple levels. Alright, let's talk about In His Arms, 2025. A film that doesn't just ask for your attention, it grabs it by the heartstrings, gives them a little twist, and dares you not to feel something. This isn't the kind of movie you passively watch while scrolling through your phone. No. This one demands your full emotional bandwidth, and it's not afraid to take you on a roller coaster to get it. First off, tears? Oh, they're coming. Whether it's a gut-wrenching betrayal, a quiet moment of emotional collapse, or that one scene, yes, that one, where the music swells and you just know someone's world is about to break apart. It hits you right in the feelings. And just when you think you've got it together, boom, the lead character drops a single line so loaded with emotional weight you'll be blinking suspiciously at your popcorn, pretending it's just allergies. And don't think it's all doom and gloom. In His Arms has that spark of joy and humor that Nollywood does best. There are moments that are laugh-out-loud hilarious, usually when you're least expecting it. A perfectly timed side-eye, a one-liner that just slices, a family dinner scene that starts off sweet and spirals into chaos. It's the kind of humor that feels real, pulled straight from family gatherings, bustling markets, or late-night phone calls with your cousin who always has the tea. Then there's the shock factor, and not in the cheap jump scare kind of way. I'm talking about plot twists that make you sit up like, wait, what? Characters make choices that are frustrating, heartbreaking, sometimes jaw-dropping, but they always feel earned. These aren't soap opera twists for drama's sake. They're rooted in character psychology, in personal trauma, in cultural tension. One minute you're rooting for someone, the next you're side-eyeing them hard. And that emotional whiplash? Delicious. Audience reactions? Oh, this is the kind of film that lights up Twitter threads, WhatsApp groups, and Instagram stories. You'll see people quoting lines, asking, who else cried during the rooftop scene? Debating whether the lead made the right choice, or begging for a sequel. It's not just a movie. It becomes part of the group chat discourse for weeks. The way it drops emotional and moral dilemmas like breadcrumbs, it invites you to reflect, to argue, to analyze. Even your uncle, who doesn't really watch films like that, suddenly has opinions. And let's talk rewatch value. This isn't just a one-and-done deal. You'll go back, if only to catch that subtle moment in the background that makes more sense after the twist. Or to re-experience the ache of that confrontation scene that hit a little too close to home. Or maybe just to vibe again with a soundtrack that slaps way harder than expected. But maybe the most powerful thing is how In His Arms creates this shared, unspoken emotional community. Whether you're watching it in a packed cinema, at home with your siblings, or during a late-night solo binge, it reaches out and taps into something universal. Loss, love, fear, hope. It resonates because it's honest. It doesn't sugarcoat or oversell. It simply holds up a mirror and lets us feel seen. So yeah, Don't be surprised if, after the credits roll, you find yourself staring into space, texting your friend. Did you watch it yet? We need to talk. Want to dive into how a specific scene pulls off one of these emotional punches? Alright, let's play the comparison game. In His Arms, 2025, versus the rest of the romantic drama universe, especially within Nollywood. And this is where things get juicy. Because while the film might wear the familiar clothes of a love story tangled in secrets, heartbreak, and redemption, it struts down the runway with way more swagger than most of its peers. Think familiar formula, but with a surprise ingredient you didn't know you needed. First, let's look at the genre matchups. Romantic dramas in Nollywood are a dime a dozen, few slow-motion stares, melodramatic music, and at least one character shouting, "You lied to me," in a thunderstorm. But In His Arms plays with that expectation. Sure, it has the romance, and it is steamy, don't worry. But it doesn't stop at love triangles and betrayal. Instead of being driven by the usual will they, won't they, this film leans hard into why love is hard in a society built on secrets, class divides, and emotional repression. Think of films like Falling, The Royal Hibiscus Hotel, or even the mega-popular Living in Bondage, Breaking Free. These stories flirt with tragedy and redemption, but usually stick to a clean arc. In His Arms? Nah. It's more emotionally jagged. It takes that Nollywood glossy romance formula and injects it with real grit. It's as if the filmmakers said, what if we actually made the pain of betrayal feel like heartbreak, not just a plot checkpoint? Now, in terms of directorial style, assuming this film comes from someone known for more conventional fare, In His Arms feels like that bold, unexpected second album. Raw, risky, and personal. If the director was known for predictable love stories with pretty people in dramatic lighting, this one feels like they cracked open their own diary and spilled some tea. There's an edge to the cinematography. The pacing has more breathing room. Conversations unfold slowly, with subtext and awkward silences and glances that say everything. It dares to get intimate, not just physically, but emotionally. And then we have to talk Nollywood evolution. A lot of contemporary films are breaking out of the formulaic mold, and this one is probably marching at the front of the parade. While many titles still chase drama for drama's sake, few evil in-laws and long-lost twins, In His Arms goes deeper. It's more character-driven. You're not just watching things happen to people, you're watching them process it, break down, and sometimes make terrible choices that you completely understand. It's more psychological than melodramatic. In terms of emotional layering, few films in its genre balance romance, family trauma, and socio-political undercurrents this elegantly. Others might flirt with themes like mental health or class tension, but In His Arms dives in. And it doesn't just mention these issues, it embeds them into the story. It's like putting cayenne in your hot chocolate. Unexpected, but suddenly you're wondering why every film doesn't do this. So, if you're walking into In His Arms expecting just another romance flick, same old setup, same old heartbreak, you're in for a surprise. It takes the genre's greatest hits and remixes them into something bolder, more intimate, and definitely more emotionally dangerous. It doesn't reinvent the wheel, but it spins it hard enough to throw off sparks. Want me to break down how it compares scene for scene with a specific film in the same genre? Absolutely. Let's dive headfirst into the juicy underbelly of symbolism and metaphors. Those hidden cinematic Easter eggs that make a film so much more than just a bunch of people talking and occasionally exploding. Symbols, the cinema's secret language. Imagine watching a movie where a single red balloon floats across the screen. Cute, right? But hold up. What if that balloon isn't just a balloon? What if it's childhood innocence, or suppressed rage, or a fragile hope trying not to pop? Symbols are those sneaky little details directors use to tell a secret story beneath the obvious one. It's like the film is whispering to you, hey, pay attention, there's more going on here. Let's break down how these hidden layers do the heavy lifting in some iconic ways. Recurring motifs, the film's catchy chorus. Motifs are like cinematic catchphrases. They repeat, they linger, they evolve. You see rain every time the protagonist faces heartbreak? That's not a coincidence. That's emotional weather forecasting. A great motif example, Mirrors, those deceptive reflectors of truth. From Black Swan to us, mirrors often pop up when a character is battling their darker self. It's not just vanity, darling. It's internal chaos made visible. Metaphors, when a cigarette is never just a cigarette. Let's talk about metaphors, because nothing is ever just what it seems. Remember the spinning top in Inception? Not just a toy. That little thing is the very line between dream and reality, freedom and entrapment. It's not a plot device, it's a visual philosophy. Or how about in Matrix, where the red pill versus blue pill isn't just about choice. It's about truth versus comfort, liberation versus illusion. A metaphor so strong it's now part of political discourse. That's power. The environment talks too. Ever notice how the setting itself starts acting like a character? Stormy seas, emotional turbulence, empty desert, existential dread. Films like Mad Max, Fury Road turn wastelands into pure metaphors for human decay. No one says it out loud, but you feel it. Or in Parasite, that basement isn't just creepy. It's a class hierarchy diagram with stairs, birds, clocks, and all that weird stuff. Some symbols are universal. Birds, freedom or the loss of it. Clocks, the passage of time, or the pressure of it ticking away. Hello, Dunkirk. Rain, cleansing, sadness, or impending doom. The trick is how directors tweak these classics to make them feel fresh and dangerous. Alfred Hitchcock was practically a bird whisperer with the birds. It's not about ornithology, folks. It's anxiety, control, apocalypse. Those flapping wings, impending doom with feathers. Colors that scream and whisper. Color palettes are practically subliminal. Schindler's List was black and white, except for that one girl in the red coat. Suddenly, the horror becomes specific. You're not just watching history, you're haunted by it. Wes Anderson? His colors shout in pastel. His palette isn't just aesthetic, it tells you, this is whimsical but tragic. Laugh, but cry later. Or The Sixth Sense, where red equals supernatural energy. That's right. Every time red pops up, something spooky this way comes. The brain feast. Why it all matters. These hidden cues aren't just there to make your college essay easier. They enhance emotional resonance. They make rewatching a film feel like leveling up. They create a puzzle you didn't even know you were solving. The movie becomes a game, a maze, a riddle you feel more than understand. Because at the end of the day, great cinema doesn't just tell you a story, it invites you to unravel. Let's crack this open like a treasure chest full of cinematic goodies. Whether film is part of a series or a historical drama, it's not just doing its own thing, it's playing the long game. It's a chess move in a larger match, or a time machine with surround sound. So let's time hop and universe hop through how films pull double duty, entertaining us now while building something bigger or truer in the process. When it's part of a series, the epic tapestry effect. Franchises, trilogies, cinematic universes. Watching one movie in a series is like getting one slice of a 7-layer cake. Sure, it's delicious. But the real joy is when you realize there are hidden flavors linking every bite. Take the Harry Potter series. Each film drops breadcrumbs, horcruxes, prophecies, a certain greasy-haired professor playing chess with everyone's life. What starts as kid goes to magic school evolves into a war epic about love, legacy, and literal soul fragments. Individual entries stand strong, but they're Voltron and G into a massive story. And then there's The Lord of the Rings. You don't just watch Frodo walk for 3 films. You witness a continent teetering on collapse, ancient grudges resurrecting, kings returning, and the literal fall of evil. One film gives you a taste, but the series gives you the mythology. A movie might show a sword being reforged, but the series shows what that sword means. Even something like Fast and Furious, yes, the family-fueled car ballet, grows from street racing to international spy heist explosion therapy. Suddenly, characters who once stole DVD players are hacking satellites with one hand and hugging with the other. It's absurd. It's brilliant. It's storytelling with knots. When it's a historical film, time travel trick. Now shift gears. Historical films don't have sequels, usually, but they do have the past as their co-writer. And they're not just about what happened, they're about how it felt to be there. Let's talk Gladiator. Yes, Russell Crowe slices and dices with cinematic flair, but Rome isn't just a backdrop. The movie dives into honor culture, power plays, mob politics, and how emperors use spectacle to distract from tyranny. Is it 100% textbook accurate? Not. But it's emotionally immersive. It gets the vibe right, and that vibe is swords, sand, and sadness. Or Dunkirk, which throws out linear storytelling and instead hits you with pure anxiety soup. You don't get lectures about World War II. You get crammed into the cockpit, dunked in freezing water, asterisk marooned on a beach. A network error occurred. Please check your connection and try again. If this issue persists, please contact us through our help center at help.openai.com. Alright, let's talk about the mysterious, glamorous world of budgets and box office numbers, where magic and money meet on the silver screen. Picture this. The film is just a twinkle in a director's eye, but behind the scenes, there's a financial juggernaut working overtime to make sure everything happens. Production teams, special effects, set designs, and don't forget those expensive craft services, because who can act on an empty stomach? The budget. How much does it cost to build a universe? First, let's get the scale of things straight. When filmmakers get the green light to create something massive, say a superhero spectacle or an epic space opera, they're often handed a small fortune or sometimes a small moon to bring it all to life. Think of it like a high-stakes game of Monopoly, but instead of plastic houses, you're building entire cities, time-traveling portals, or collapsing universes. Take Marvel's Avengers, Endgame, for example. With a budget of around $350 million, it wasn't exactly chump change. But what did you get for that price? A mind-bending visual experience, countless A-list actors, CGI battles that made you question the laws of physics, and action sequences that left you breathless. In short, the production quality was top-notch. Every penny was on the screen, and it looked it. Whether you were watching Iron Man soar through a destroyed city or Hulk smashing everything in sight, it was pure cinematic eye candy. Did the film need that budget? Absolutely. The film was designed to be an unforgettable conclusion to a decade-long narrative, and it delivered in spades. Box office. The high-risk, high-reward game. But here's the fun part, the box office. All the money in the world doesn't guarantee you're going to reclaim it. So, what happens when a film bends over backward to create something that looks amazing, but doesn't quite hit the mark for audiences or critics? Let's look at Blade Runner 2049. A stunning visual masterpiece for sure, with a budget of $185 million and directed by Denis Villeneuve. This film was one of the most visually striking films of the decade. Yet, despite rave reviews and an epic soundtrack by Hans Zimmer, the film flopped hard at the box office, grossing around $260 million globally. Now, $260 million sounds like a big number, right? But when you consider marketing costs, distribution fees, and how much the film needed to make to just break even, it wasn't quite the financial win Warner Brothers hoped for. So what happened? It's a case of genre expectations, my friends. Blade Runner isn't exactly a popcorn movie. It's slow, cerebral, and heavy on philosophy. The audience for that kind of film is smaller and more niche, and not everyone was ready for the mind-bending ride. Marketing, the secret weapon or secretness. Then there's the marketing, which can either be a movie's best friend or worst enemy. Sometimes a film is so well marketed, you go into the theater already convinced it's going to be an unforgettable experience. But other times, marketing campaigns oversell and underdeliver. For instance, The Dark Knight wasn't just a masterpiece on screen. Its marketing was a phenomenon. We had viral Joker videos, mysterious promotional stunts, and, of course, that legendary IMAX teaser. By the time it hit theaters, the audience was already hyped to fever pitch. It paid off big time. With a budget of $185 million, the film grossed over $1 billion worldwide. Marketing didn't just create buzz, it supercharged it. In contrast, a film like John Carter, remember that one? had an astronomical budget of $250 million and an equally gargantuan marketing campaign. Disney's marketing machine worked overtime, but the film's lackluster reception and some confusing creative decisions led to a box office disaster. It ended up grossing about $280 million, which sounds like a success, but remember, production plus marketing costs equals an outright loss. Disney's big gamble didn't pay off, and the film became one of the biggest box office flops in history. Audience reception, a movie's relationship with the world. Now let's talk about that crucial connection between a film and its audience. A film's reception can make or break its earnings. It doesn't matter how big the budget is or how many explosions you've got. If the audience isn't on board, you're in for a rocky ride. Take Jumanji. Welcome to the jungle. On paper, it seemed like a risky move, a sequel to a beloved 90s classic, with new actors and a fresh twist on the concept. Yet, its marketing nailed it. It made the film look like a fun, high-energy adventure, and the audience responded with massive enthusiasm. With a budget of $90 million, it grossed $962 million worldwide. That's the power of good audience engagement and timing. The film was lighthearted, full of star power, The Rock, Kevin Hart, and Jack Black, and a sense of fun that resonated with viewers. Plus, the nostalgia factor was strong enough to bring in fans of the original. Then there's Justice League, which had everything going for it, an all-star cast, a massive budget, $300 million, and a big superhero fan base. But the reception? Oof. Fans were split, the critics pounced, and audience excitement turned into meh. Even with all that marketing, it couldn't overcome its rocky production and a story that didn't quite click. The result? A box office disappointment with $657 million globally. It wasn't a failure per se, but it definitely didn't match up to expectations, especially after the massive success of Wonder Woman just months earlier. Clinking glasses winning the box office lottery. In the end, a film's budget and box office success are like a perfect recipe. It's about production quality meeting audience expectations, creative marketing that sparks interest, and a dose of luck that lets all the pieces fall into place. When everything aligns, the results can be magical, like Avatar's $2.8 billion global haul. But when things don't click, you're left with the empty popcorn bag of disappointment, with a lot of lessons learned for the next big project. So, what's the real takeaway? Sometimes a film's budget doesn't matter. It's about how you use that money to make the most memorable, jaw-dropping, heart-pounding experience. Because at the end of the day, box office numbers are just numbers, but a movie that connects with audiences? Alright, so you've heard all the buzz, you've seen the trailers, and now you're ready to dive into the world of this film. The burning question is, where can you watch it? In the cinema, at home on a comfy couch, or in the middle of a massive binge-watch session with your favorite snacks? Let's break it down in the most entertaining, no-holds-barred way possible. The cinema, the ultimate movie theater experience. First, let's talk theater going, the grand, exhilarating experience that comes with a big screen, surround sound, and popcorn the size of your head. There's nothing quite like the magic of a theater. Lights dim. The soundtracks thrum through your chest. The screen is so big you feel like you could fall into it. If this film is the type that demands that larger-than-life experience, the theater is your best friend. Think jaw-dropping CGI, huge action scenes, and those epic soundscapes that you just can't replicate on your TV. Take a film like Avengers. Endgame, a must-watch in theaters. The stakes were high, the visuals were stunning, and you wanted to feel the shared energy with a crowd of fans who also gasped when Tony Stark's fate was sealed. The movie wasn't just a story, it was a global event. The theater becomes this social experience where you're not just watching the film, you're experiencing it with the world. At home, the comfort of your own domain. But maybe you're the type who likes to chill in your PJs with the remote in one hand and a bowl of ice cream in the other. Who can blame you? Some films just feel right for home viewing, especially if it's a gripping drama or an intimate character story that doesn't need massive visual explosions to get your blood pumping. Streaming services are where it's at for this. You've probably seen it. You log into Netflix, Hulu, or Prime Video, and the film pops up right in your recommendations. Easy, accessible, and perfect for those marathon viewing sessions. Plus, you get to pause and rewind when that amazing plot twist happens, because you know you'll want to catch every detail. Let's talk Dune, the 2021 version. While the epic scale is a reason to hit the theaters, it's equally at home on your couch with a nice pair of headphones for that sound immersion. Watching Dune from the comfort of your own home lets you absorb its complex world building and all its mysterious desert landscapes without the distraction of an overactive theater crowd. That way, you can fully immerse yourself in the sandstorms of Arrakis without worrying about a person 2 rows in front of you checking their phone every 2 minutes. Streaming and digital rentals. Access anytime, anywhere. But wait, what if you don't have access to a theater, or maybe you're just waiting for the home release? Enter the realm of digital rentals and streaming platforms like Apple TV, Google Play, and the mighty Amazon Prime Video. Here's where flexibility is king. You want to watch a movie while on vacation? Pull out your tablet. In the middle of a business trip? Fire up your laptop. You've got that freedom to enjoy the film in multiple formats. Plus, digital rentals usually let you pick the quality settings. HD, 4K, you name it. Sometimes, the film's available for purchase as soon as it hits digital, giving you the power to watch it whenever you like. Binge it, rewatch it, or take your time with it like a fine wine. And the best part? You don't need to leave your couch. No pants required. Mobile and tablet. For the on-the-go movie lover. Maybe you're that person who just can't sit still. Maybe you need the film to come to you. Guess what? There's a whole new world of watching movies on smartphones and tablets now. Whether you're traveling, waiting in line at the grocery store, or lounging in a coffee shop, the mobile movie experience is something to behold. It's not just about streaming, it's about having access to your favorite movies and shows at all times. A film might feel just as exciting on your phone when you're watching it on a tiny screen during your lunch break. Portable, quick, and instant. That's the future of cinematic consumption. Not to mention the joy of watching Mission Impossible while you're dodging a line at the DMV. Pure cinematic zen. The best way to watch it. Experience it to the fullest. Alright, now that we've got all the platforms covered, let's talk methodology. How do you get the fullest impact from the film? Theaters? Best for action-packed spectacles, where the visual effects pop and the soundtrack throbs through your bones. IMAX or Dolby Atmos are top tier for this. If the film is designed to be experienced with a group, like a superhero movie, sci-fi epic, or action thriller, nothing beats the shared energy of a theater audience. Home viewing? Perfect for films that require delicate attention to detail, complex plots, or emotional depth. The comfort of your living room lets you pause for bathroom breaks, soak in every nuanced performance, and maybe even pause to take notes if you're that into it. For something like The Irishman, with its long run time and heavy themes, your couch might just be the best seat in the house. Digital rentals? Think convenience. If you're in the mood for something and it's just dropped on digital, you can jump right in. Best for those nights when you want to see something new and exciting, but also need the flexibility of pause and go watching. In the end, it's all about how you connect with the film. Want the immersive experience? Go for the theater. Craving the comfort of watching it with your pets? Fire up the streaming service. Whether it's in the theater, at home, or on the go, it's all about finding the right setting for you to experience the magic in a way that'll leave you talking about it long after the credits roll. Ready to pick your viewing weapon? Tell me where you're watching, and I'll help you plan your movie night.